Alright, so in this video, we're going to learn about how to extract words from a string. Now, before we do that, we need some prerequisites in our grasp. So you need to know how substring method works and how the trim library method works. Now, to make this video suitable for all audiences, this video has been divided into three parts. The first part covers the prerequisites necessary to solve this problem. The second part covers the algorithm required to solve this problem. And finally, the third part covers the program implementation of this problem. So if this is your first time learning about word extraction, then I would highly recommend you to go through all these three videos in sequence such that you have no trouble understanding this very simple algorithm. All right. But if you already know about these library methods, you may very well skip this first part and move on to the second and third part. All right. So with that out of the way, let's begin. Now, coming to the substring method. So the substring method has a general syntax of substring bracket start index and stop index, and this method returns a string. Now, why is this method required? Well, this method is used to extract a section of the string specified by the start index as well as the stop index. Now, let's take an example. So here we have a string computer applications that has a space between it, and I'm going to represent spaces using this B stripe, which is same as blanks. Because it's quite difficult to demonstrate blanks in a whiteboard, therefore I'm going to demonstrate it with this character. Now, if I want to extract the string computer, then what are the start index and what are the stop index that I must pass to the substring function? That is what we need to understand. Now, the start index refers to the position from where a substring would start cutting the string, you might say. So we need to start cutting from the 0th index, therefore the first bit is 0. Now, for the stop index, the substring behaves in a peculiar manner. So what substring does is it starts cutting from the start index, but it cuts only up till stop index -1, one character before the stop index. All right. So if we were to extract COMPUTER, then the starting index would be 0 and the ending index would be 8 instead of 7, such that it cuts from 0 to 8 minus 1, that's 7. Therefore, if we call substring in the following manner on the string str, then we are going to receive COMPUTER. All right, so it starts cutting from start index and it goes up till stop index -1. Now, the quick challenge for you. How should we extract the word applications? What should be its start and stop indexes? Pause this video for a sec and see if you can solve it yourself. All right, I hope you have given it a try. So the correct answer to this would be 9, as we are starting from A and we need to cut up till S, right? Therefore, as it only goes till stop index -1, we need to give 21 such that it goes till 20. 21 -1, right? So if I put in 9, 21, then I will get an output of applications. Now, some of you might think that 9 is a valid index, that's for sure, but 21 isn't. Well, substring behaves in this following manner. You can't change the way it behaves, we just need to accept the way that this function performs. It's just a very simple thing. It starts from the start index and it goes up till stop index -1. If you understand this particular bit, you will have no problem using this in your programs. All right. Now moving on to the trim function. Now, what does the trim function do? The trim function is used to eradicate the leading and the trailing spaces that a string might have. So for example, here we have a string cat and it's littered with spaces before and after it. So the spaces that are before the word cat are referred to as leading spaces, and the spaces that are after the word cat are referred to as trailing spaces. Now what trim does is it gets rid of the leading and the trailing spaces, and it only gives you the word that's in between them, or the characters that the remaining characters. All right. So if we call trim on str, like str.trim, then the output would be cat. Now remember one thing, calling trim on str does not change the value of the string. What it merely does is it just returns a new string that does not contain the leading and the trailing spaces. Therefore, if you want to print the original string again, you would receive this, where the leading and the trailing spaces are still present. All right. So you might sometime want to trim a string and just save this in a variable. Sometimes you would require this. So how to do that will be covered a while later. But let me discuss another thing about trim, a misconception that you might have. Well, by definition, trim only removes the leading and the trailing spaces. So if your string has some other spaces in between words which are not a part of the leading and trailing spaces, it will not get removed. So an example for this would be this string. So this string has the leading space and the trailing space, and this will be removed and this will be removed, whereas this part of spaces will not be removed. Therefore, if you call trim on str, the output that you're going to get is this: spider, two blank space, and then three blank space, I'm sorry, and then man. All right. So it only removes the leading and trailing spaces. If there are spaces in between words, it does not touch them. And again, to highlight the point that trim always returns a new string that does not contain the leading and the trailing spaces. It does not modify the string in place. Therefore, if we were to print the original string once again, this is the output that we're going to get: spider, three spaces, man, followed by two spaces. All right. Now, how should you change the string in place? Some of you might have this question. So it's quite simple, actually. We just perform a reassignment. So the reassignment will be as follows. So here we have a string cat that's littered with leading and trailing spaces. Now, to get rid of all these spaces in str, this is what we are going to write: str equals str dot trim. So what we're doing is we are generating a new cleaned string from the trim function, and then we are saving its output in the same variable. Therefore, if we print the content of str now, this is the output that we are going to get. All right. So this is the end of the first part of this video, and I hope you have understood the prerequisites. If you haven't, go through this video a couple of times. I hope you will get it. It's quite simple concept. Just try these code outs on your machine. I guess you will understand it. All right. And in the next video, we're going to discuss the algorithm behind extraction of words from string. Till then, bye.